What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? Her. Why are you leaving a tip? Me. Because the service was really good? But she's fat. Yeah, that's an immediate ick. Bragged about drinking and driving. He told me that he and his friends have a nothing under 100 club where they drink and then drive on the interstate going 100 plus miles per hour and have to send a full-length Snapchat video of the speedometer to each other. Dear God, people. Revealed his list of conquests. Not even my brother knows how many women I've slept with. Then he offered to take my virginity in the back of his pickup truck. I passed. As you should. Good call. She asked if things didn't work out, if I would mind if she went out with my roommate. I said I couldn't possibly do that to him and left. That's a real homie right there. That's a real G. He tried to discreetly take photos of my feet. Nothing against people who are into that, but the way he was going about it was super creepy. She asked me if I was good with kids because she was pregnant with her ex, and that she's not good with kids. It was the first date. Hello and welcome everybody back to Ask EmKay. My name's Brandon. How about we just jump in and stop wasting time? What did a crush do that made you instantly lose interest in him/her? She asked me to prom. I said yeah. 2 days before prom, I actually don't want to go with you, but I already bought both our tickets. As the guy, I expect you to pay me back for them. I tried to explain that's not how transactions work. She kept telling me it was my responsibility. I asked if she was smoking crack. Never heard from her again. He said he doesn't like ugly people and they all should die or be put in a corner. That is a little extreme, I'll say for sure. Not me, but my wife before we met. There was an event in Salt Lake City and she was from Northern Washington. She had a crush on this guy and decided to join carpooling with him and a couple other people. They stopped to grab some fast food and went back on their way. Well, as soon as he finished eating/drinking, he tossed the whole bag out the window while driving. After that, she barely talked to him, and once they got to SLC, she left him and joined some other friends and went back home with them instead. He was an to our teacher because he was going to play baseball in college. Looked him up and he's definitely not doing it professionally and hasn't graduated yet. Made fun of some chick who was into him for being chubby. He was fluffy himself and I called him on it and walked away from that. He drove like an idiot while I was in the car. I literally thought he was going to kill us and he was road raging the whole time. This was on the highway too. I asked him to stop driving like that and he didn't. Never going out with him again. Hey, we still good for tomorrow? Sorry, my boyfriend wants to come over. Great way to find out she both forgot about our plans and had a boyfriend. She started posting videos of her making out with drunk old men to her Snap. We're both in college. Redditors who were born at a very young age. What is your story? Clearly, I was very sick. I mean, I was born in a hospital. To be honest, I've suppressed nearly every memory of that early period, but my parents tell me I avoided most activities, refused to speak, and spent much of my time crying. I was born naked. Yeah, join the club, buddy. A maniac in blue clothes pulled me off and slapped me. Pulled you off of what? I remember when I was applying for a job as a fashion editor, they asked me what made me get into fashion. I didn't know what to say, so I said, I've been putting on clothes since I can remember. Both the interviewer and I started cracking up. I got the job. What improved your quality of life so much you wish you did it sooner? Stop working more than 40 hours a week. That is true. That 40-hour work weeks? No, can't do it. Impossible. Stopped watching the news. Life's way better without it. That is true, but it is still nice to be informed. Setting my own boundaries after realizing that when I didn't, people set them for me. You young kids will think this crazy, but I'm glad to have gotten older. All those things that worried me when I was in my 20s just don't matter anymore. I'm 67 now and much happier. Yeah, because you're rich and you have all the money. Going to the gym. Used to be a miserable fat bastard, but after 3 months of going to the gym, I've lost about a stone and feel so much better. Being fat is not an issue. It's just a matter of loving yourself. I printed and framed that Calvin and Hobbes comic where the dad stops his work and goes to play in the snow with his kid. It hangs in my office home and reminds me what my priorities are. I've been much happier for it. Permanently placed my phone on Do Not Disturb, allow calls from contacts. This one change saved me from constant disruptive unwanted calls. Life is good on No Ring Lane. What industry is a lot shadier than it seems? My dad knows a story from someone who works for a nationwide grocery chain. They had to deal with an Italian mafia to import balsamic vinegar. Rating services like Yelp refuse to advertise, and your good reviews magically get rearranged. Hey, look, if you want to do that and be transparent, I get it, but most every business owner knows how scummy this is, and most clients just have no idea. Dietary supplements. It's gotten better, but there's still still a lot of half-truths and whole lies. Not all that long ago, it was seriously like the Wild Wild West. Eyeglasses. You have no idea the snow job they put most people through when it comes to buying them. It's far, far worse than trying to buy a new car from a dealership. Wholesale frames are about $5 to $20. Wholesale lenses, blanks, are another $10. Any kind of dip coating, UV tinting, etc. is negligible cost and effort to apply. Literally pennies. I was blessed with perfect eyesight, so sorry nerds. Just kidding. I'm so sorry you have to deal with that. Trucking. The margins are razor thin, and so everyone is trying to nickel and dime each other constantly. The drivers lie to their dispatchers lie to the brokers lie to the clients. All of this for like $50 to $100 sometimes. Avocado farms. Most of the farms in Central America are taken over by the cartel because of how much money is in selling avocados. Remember kids, there's always money in the avocado stand, or avocado farm, whatever, you get it. This'll probably get buried, but glitter. A manager of one of the biggest glitter manufacturers, GlitterX, said in a 2018 interview that most of the glitter they make goes to one buyer for a single industrial use. When asked who the buyer was and why they need so much glitter, she said, "Oh, I definitely can't disclose that." When asked why, she said, "Because they don't want anybody to know it's glitter." Oh god, what is it then? What hobby does not get more expensive the more you dive into it? Collecting rocks that you find. That is true. I mean, so long as you're finding them on the just out there, in the dirt, then it's free. Magnet fishing. All you need is a strong magnet and some rope, really, and maybe a few other things like gloves. Might even find something valuable one day if you're exceedingly lucky. Smithing. It's always just as expensive. Extreme couponing. Yeah, that tracks. I mean, the more you get into it, the cheaper things will be, so. Writing. All you need is a Word document and your brain. Unless you're like me, who prefers IRL writing and now has a dragon's hoard of journals to write in. Cross-stitch/embroidery. It's fairly cheap in general, but once you have a few sets in, you have a wide variety of colors to do your own. If authors covered novels the way musicians cover songs, which covered novel would you be most excited to read? Because I'm illiterate and I barely read, I probably won't know most of these authors, so forgive me. Isaac Asimov covering Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or vice versa, Douglas Adams covering Foundation. Ayn Rand's The Giving Tree. Edgar Allan Poe's Captain Underpants. Lord of the Flies by Roald Dahl. Dr. Seuss, The Art of War. Now that is a book I would like to read. H.P. Lovecraft presents Jurassic Park. Was there a book? I thought it was just the movie. What is something super important that is on the verge of happening? The first human corneas have been 3D printed by scientists. They cannot be used for human eyes yet, but in the future, the technique could be used to ensure an unlimited supply of corneas required for cornea transplants. For some positivity, we're on the verge of having a net positive increase in trees rather than decrease. Apparently, we're already at or near a net zero. Doesn't mean you should stop caring though. Fusion energy. Every week, a new result comes out where the plasma has been kept stable longer at higher temperature, etc. With an international collaboration on building first prototypes of positive net energy fusion reactors, we will change the world overnight. Free energy, very little pollution, basically forever. Making organs from stem cells. Hurry up already, science. I need a kidney. I hope they're doing well. It's been 3 years. I hope they got their kidney. As Wi-Fi covers more and more of the country, phone companies will lose their ability to charge exorbitant prices because telephony will be available everywhere. Magic Jack will be all you need. All calls and texts running through the internet. If marriages were 5 to 10 year contracts with options to renew if both parties accepted, how would the world be different? It's a new nightmare. An entire industry rises up to create even more traditions for renewal celebrations, and now you have to attend even more elaborate parties, destination renewals, and even more subdued homespun renewals require at least buying a nice bottle of scotch. I probably couldn't afford to keep up with more than 2 friends at the rate of this particular scenario that's all entirely in my head. My parents used 7-year contracts they would rewrite and renew. Each one was a plan on what they would do for the next 7 years. 8 kids in 54 years together, it's worked well for them. Renewal ceremonies were basically family reunions, so no elaborate parties. Happily married people would have to wait in a long, annoying-ass line every 10 years, and it would put everyone in a bad mood. Marriage re-up officers will be rude and condescending because of all the dumbass general public they have to deal with every day. This would change very little. Not renewing a marriage after 10 years when you have a bunch of joint property and kids is not any different from a no-fault divorce. Would be equally messy. conspiracy. And if you don't have any joint property or kids, a regular divorce would be pretty painless anyway. Essentially, with no-fault divorce laws, any marriage can already be treated as renewable contract. Your dog has heard all of your conversations, arguments, and deepest secrets. It suddenly learns to talk. What would you do?
Oh yeah, buddy? Will you literally eat your own?
I tell that to my dog all the time, and he doesn't even know how to talk yet, so he knows his place. One of my dogs would have remained loyal and keep my secrets. The other would definitely require negotiation and bribes. Ask her what she thinks I should do. I mean, she's been an observer all her life, so she might have some good insight. She'll never betray me anyways, so it's okay. That's what you think, until they tell people your social security and then apologize for baby talking to him in baby talk. It's just so hard, you can't stop. My dog is unquestionably loyal. I'm not worried. Very confident, this one. Extroverts who ask others, why are you so quiet? What kind of response are you looking for? I'm the quiet one, and I've asked my extrovert friends about this. For her, it's her anxiety telling her that I'm not talking because I'm mad at her. She's very uncomfortable with silence. We've both gotten better at being what the other needs in this regard. We have a mutual friend who is also an extrovert, and we can sit and read for an afternoon and have a lovely time together. While the extrovert anxiously eyes us, lol. I was raised by librarians. Now that is a good response. One of my favorite surgeons is very quiet. Story told about him by another surgeon when he was a resident. Resident kept trying to ask about his kids, his holidays, making chit chat. Surgeon says, I'm comfortable with uncomfortable silence. End of conversation. That might be the most perfect response to it. I'm an extrovert who has recently taught himself to listen more than speak. I'm a contractor, and I just knew that I had a tendency to dominate conversations and had to make the conscious effort to shut the f*** up and listen to my customers. It has affected my entire life in a positive way. I hate when they follow it up with a command to smile.
Why are you so quiet? Smile!
Ugh, those people just give me the ick. What is something that your parents did that you swore never to repeat to your own kids? I have two. Making fun of their interests and hobbies. It's why I don't like showing anyone my artwork, but I will do anything to support my kids and encourage them. If they tell me something in confidence, I'm not using that as a topic of conversation with others. Tell my parents anything and everyone knows. My mom just couldn't understand why I was getting mad when she was telling any Yahoo at Walmart the whole story of events leading up to my divorce. Both are why my mom wonders why I don't tell her anything. I don't want that for my kids. I was spanked. I thought I'd grow up and spank too because I ended up okay and thought that's how you correct kids. But then as I got older, I thought back to how I deal with other kids who made me mad or wouldn't listen to me. I hit them. It clicked this wasn't what I needed to do. Try to be controlling over my kid's life and blame all their problems on the other parent. Oof, yikes, that feels very telling. Refuse to admit I was wrong. That is the biggest issue with a lot of parents. They do not understand humility. Be unapproachable. Come talk to me anytime about anything. Everything can be fixed. Constantly comparing myself to other people's kids and belittling my own achievements. What conspiracy theory do you completely believe is true? Bill didn't cheat on Hillary. They have an open marriage where they can do what they want whilst traveling around for work. Reason for the infidelity lie? It's easier for the American population to accept a president making a mistake infidelity than to accept a swinging president/first lady. Disney absolutely believed that Hillary Clinton was going to win the 2016 election, so they started building her animatronic for the Hall of Presidents well in advance, and after Trump pulled off a victory, instead of starting from scratch, they just kind of made a couple half-assed adjustments to the Hillary model and put it up on stage. Everyone I tell about this tells me I'm overreacting and it's just a conspiracy, but I strongly believe large companies who use eco-friendly products around customers only do it to make themselves look good, and to make the customer feel like pollution is their fault when they use, for example, plastic straws, when in reality using eco-friendly straws barely dents the amount of pollution the company itself makes behind the scenes. I'm in the Navy, and we change uniforms a lot compared to other branches. There's a conspiracy theory that there's a rear admiral whose wife has stocks in the company that makes our uniforms. I just randomly heard someone talking about it. I have zero evidence that it's true, but I 100% believe it. The Big Mac has gotten smaller, so McDonald's saves some money. I don't know, but I swear the Big Mac used to be bigger. Or maybe I'm just fatter. You could have just grown up, but I mean, things look smaller when you're a kid. Don't put yourself down. Not a specific theory, but I have no doubt that the majority majority of leaks for the entertainment industry, video games, movies, TV, etc., are completely purposeful and meant to gauge general opinions before official announcements. The average human brain is comparable to about 2.5 million gigabytes. Your brain has reached near capacity. What do you delete to free up space? Memories of reality shows I've watched. All memories of being bullied and picked on as a child. All of my most embarrassing moments. I would never get rid of those. I love those. Sorry, I'm burping right now. That's one of them. Everything but fine dining and breathing. You might want to remember walking, but you'll get there. Anxiety.exe would probably fix that. Thanks for everything, guys. My brain dumps info automatically. I unfortunately do not get to choose what goes. All about my exes. Ugh, don't we all? My fear of wicker furniture. My desire to play the trumpet. My tentative plans to purchase a hat. And 6 years of improv workshops. Interesting choices. Those of you Redditors in happy, healthy, and fulfilling relationships, what were the green flags you noticed about your partner early on in your relationship with them? It was instantly easy to talk to her. I never felt like I had to put on a show for her because she never did with me, and she actively affirmed me in that. She immediately blew every standard I thought was high enough out of the water. Evaluating my needs. Something as simple as offering me some of their water after getting it for themselves. I was able to express my emotions and thoughts to him without his getting angry or judgy. He fearlessly let me have my feelings without trying to change them. We talk them out and it feels so much better afterwards. I feel like I could tell him absolutely anything, so the trust between us is more solid than I've ever had with anyone else. Gah, he's just the best. Well, I'm happy for you. I hate being tickled, but I am very ticklish. She discovered it early in the relationship, and I asked her once to not tickle me. She has never tickled me again in the following 10 years. Just shows respect. Being able to discuss anything, even flaws, without them/me getting mad. Communication is the most important thing in a healthy relationship. Love is just as important though, I guess. My partner never made fun of me or acted condescending when I didn't know something. They were always humble when it came to gaps in their knowledge too. If bullshit means fake and bat means crazy, what do the other shits of the animal kingdom mean? Ape shit, going crazy. Horse shit, same as bullshit. Rat shit, poor quality. Australian/New Zealand. Green as goose shit, naive or inexperienced. Dog shit, terrible. That one's my favorite. Cat shit still means cat shit. Yeah. Human shit, someone who litters in a national park. What's the worst scandal to happen at your school? The math teacher left his wife of 18 years for one of the graduating seniors. Oh, gross, dude. That is nasty. That's awful. Girl A decided to fight Girl B in class. Girl A ripped Girl B's real hair out, broke her nose, and crippled her. Girl B was sent to the emergency room. Girl A was suspended for 2 weeks. They were both in 7th grade. One year in exams day, they were trying to add a new method to prevent cheating where a man from the administration comes to every class before every exam and collects students' phones while sticking a sticker with a number on each phone and giving the same sticker to the student so he can get his phone after school without anyone taking someone else's phone that looks alike or something. This was working at first and a bit preventing cheating until one day some guy sneaked into our high school and came as the man who collects the phones while he wasn't. He stole the whole high school phones and went. My middle school banned hugging and hand-holding during course changes because it blocked the hall. In protest, all the 8th graders stood up and hugged each other during their lunch period. A bunch of students got detention. Made the cover of the Charlotte Observer. A kid in my class sent an email to the White House threatening to kill Socks, the Clintons' cat. Secret Service showed up a few days later after they tracked down the computer. What things did you do as a kid that you now realize is extremely weird? There were spiders and mice in my room which totally freaked me out, so every night before I went to sleep, I'd whisper a report of what the weather was outside to encourage them to go outside rather than stay inside and bite me in my sleep. Reverse psychology. It could work on spiders. We haven't tested it though. Well, you did, but we don't know the result. 8 rose petals. My grandfather told me they're edible. I still eat one when I go visit his grave. Oh no, I thought that was a funny one. That's a little upsetting. I'm sorry. Purple was my favorite color, but I didn't like the word, so I called it Myrtleop. Interesting. What are you from, Star Trek? Trek. Found out that the air had germs in it, and I tried not to breathe too much. I used to eat ants. I didn't even like the taste, I just kept doing it. I used to steal things from my sister when she was mean to me, and then hide them by sewing them into her stuffed animals. She found out a few months ago and was really freaked out. As of right now, what will it take to make you 100% happy? Man, if I had childcare in this moment, I would totally lay down for like 2 hours for a nap, but I am the childcare. I am vengeance. A friend, or God forbid, a girlfriend. I've been out of college several years now, and I've been friendless ever since. Hard to be excited about something and have nobody to tell. Rid me of my anxiety and IBS. My life would be perfect. Start earning enough money to not be stressed and to be free of any mental health issues. Not sure if money can really do that, but it can definitely get you resources to help. Superpowers. Yeah, that's simple enough answer. 100%? Dunno, but my girlfriend just got home with some good news, and that's made me happy. Aw, that's all wholesome and nice. To be noticed for like 5 minutes. Well, here's your moment. We'll just let it sit here for 5 minutes. I like disaster. We're not gonna do that. To have someone I can fully trust and confide in. I'll lowball it. $50,000. It'd be enough for me to be financially secure. Anyone, if you're listening, give this man $50,000. And by this man, I mean me. Give me $50,000. No. Doctors of Reddit, what was the worst thing you've seen for a patient that another doctor overlooked? Neurologist sent patient to our ED without informing her that imaging showed a glioblastoma, assuring her impending death. He didn't overlook the disease, he overlooked the communication. MD here, recently was called over by a nurse who told me a patient's bandages were wet as they were bleeding a little. Patient had recently had his leg amputated. We pulled his bandages off and found a spurting femoral artery. At this point, patient passed out. Patient was sent to the theaters for an emergency operation. Close call for sure. I found an obvious huge rectal cancer on a patient who was previously told over and over again that she had hemorrhoids. In residency, I saw a cardiologist miss a STEMI, heart attack. By the time the patient came to us, some of the muscles supporting one of his heart valves had completely died and he was in cardiogenic shock. Basically, his heart function was so bad that it wasn't circulating the blood in his body enough to support life. It was awful. Happily, he made it through though. I work in EMS. We got a call for a female with leg pain. When we arrive on scene, this woman's leg is 3 times the size of her other one, blue and purple, and she has no pulse in her foot. She fell on ice a few days prior, and the urgent care didn't do any x-rays, told her she had a sprain and gave her a walking boot. In reality, her tibia and fibula were both so badly fractured they were cutting the blood vessels and muscle tissue. She lost her foot. What simple life hack should everyone know? Get into a routine of stretching your hip flexors and chest if you sit for long periods. Absolute game changer for people who suffer with chronic lower back pain as a result of being hunched over a desk. I should probably get into that then, because my back is obliterated. 5 minutes of daily exercise is infinitely better than 0 minutes and will make a big difference. Google it first. I guess that's fair. I mean, you don't want to do a fake life hack that actually ruins your life. No matter how good a person you are, at some point you will be the bad guy in someone else's story. You cannot please everyone, and you shouldn't try to. Be a good person and have friendships with people you can respect and look up to. If you have trouble choosing, flip a coin. While you're waiting to get the result, your mind automatically starts to wish for what it wants. Then you can choose easily. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. In a lot of daunting situations, for example, asking someone out or standing up for yourself, you only need to be brave for a few seconds to get it over with. If an alien offered you a 1-week trip across the galaxy and back, with the catch being 15 years passes on Earth, would you accept or reject the offer, and why? Check to see if my job will be okay with a 15-year unemployment gap. It most likely won't, then go anyways. Bro, I will. What if Earth blows up during those years? I would be alive. 15 years to see something no one else here has ever seen or will see in the near future. I'll take that. I'd really love to take that trip, but 15 years is way too much of my family's life to miss, so I have pass. If I was single, I'd go in a heartbeat. Accept it so that I can discover what other civilizations and life forms are. Plus, that would be interesting to see how Earth would have changed in that time period. Depends what stage of life I was at. I can't really afford to take 15 years off right now. I've got stuff to do. Post-retirement though, send me the hell up. Nope, my mom is older and that is way too much time to miss. Hell, a year since seeing her in person is a ton thanks to real life crap in the world. Tempting, but nah. You've died and arrived at a train station to your afterlife. The trains are animals, traditional heaven, rebirth, and eternal nothingness. Which train do you take and why? Do I get my choice of what animal I could be? I could end up as a fruit fly and live for a day. EmKay, only to end up back at the station? Or could I be a lapdog, born to be someone's beloved pet for around 13 years? Could I be a tortoise and live for 140 years? I would do one thing I and probably most people never do in life. Carefully review the terms and conditions of each choice before making the final decision. I put in a job application to work at the train station. According to Buddha, eternal nothingness is the only good pick. But if I'll be coming back anyways, I might as well do some magpie runs first. Traditional heaven. You would be happy/content by default. I always say this about if you ever could have one wish, don't wish for money in the pursuit of happiness. Just straight up wish to be happy and content. You can't lose. I'd give it another shot and say rebirth. However, on a different planet as an alien. Let's try something new this time. You can go back 100,000 years to a cave that will be discovered by archaeologists. What do you write on the wall to mess with them? Test post, please ignore. Scientists would study that for decades. I'm an archaeologist and can safely say, no, it's not ritual scrawled on the wall will with us forever. Turns out time travel only works once per timeline. Sorry guys, this planet shall be our second home. My regards to Stephen Hawking. Tell him sorry I couldn't make it to his party. I definitely put footprints on the ceiling. What do you do confidently now that made you feel weird in the past? Paint/draw and then share it with strangers. I did not grow up with art and had absolutely no confidence in attempting it. During our quarantine this spring, I taught myself how to watercolor and draw birds, and am now selling prints and stickers and donating 100% of the profits to bird conservation groups. I just love birds. Well, that's a great cause. Thank you so much. Walking down the street, realizing I was going in the wrong direction and making a U-turn without pretending to have forgotten something. Going out for a meal on my own. Pee without asking. You know, I never thought about it, but I guess we did used to do that, huh? We really did. Saying how I feel. I'd usually bottle things up because I didn't want to upset anyone. Telling people the music I like. That is still a challenge to this day, but you just gotta throw music at people. English. I used to be terrible and my accent still sucks sometimes, but after more than 20 years of practice and a bachelor's degree from an English university, now I'm quite proud to be bilingual. Congratulations, that is a lot of work and I know I could never do that. In what movie did you like the bad guy more than the good guy? Emperor's New Groove. Yzma and Kronk, they're entertaining to watch until today. I think they meant to say still today, but they're correct regardless. There's just something about Predator that keeps me interested. How do you do the Predator sound? Like... No, I'm not doing it. Muppet Treasure Island. Come on. Tim Curry. Wile E. Coyote. Dude was starving in the desert and just wanted to eat. The Monarch in Venture Brothers. I haven't seen Venture Brothers, so you can come kill me with pitchforks. The Labyrinth. I mean, it's David Bowie dancing around with a bulge. Sounds like me on a Saturday night. I do it alone in my room and it's not a pleasant sight. The Devil in Bedazzled. Mainly because he's played by Elizabeth Hurley. As much as I love Clarice Sterling in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter is still the best character in the whole movie despite only having 16 minutes of screen time. And he's still one of the most iconic characters today, so, I mean, yeah. What is the single most you'll understand it when you're older thing? Health issues. I know I've been genetically lucky, but after 20, random shit just starts happening for no reason. It's like Daryl developing a soy allergy at 35. Who develops a soy allergy at 35? That the quality rather than quantity of friends matters. Good people aren't always nice people, and vice versa. High school drama isn't important, like at all. That is so true. Forget about that stuff. Forget about it. Who cares who was prom queen? Understanding why your parents wanted you to go play with the awkward kid, or why they were so keen to help you make friends. It's beyond annoying as a kid when your parents try to guide who makes friends with you, but most parents instinctually know that bad social habits start early and are hard to break and can be a real burden when you are older. How many people have a kid thinking it's going to fix their relationship? Why it's so annoying when you forget to take the chicken out of the freezer. Can we get McDonald's? No, we have food at home. That one still hurts me to this day. People who work at 5-star hotels. What type of shit goes on that management doesn't want people to know? I worked at a Ritz-Carlton a few years back. It's literally the same as anywhere else. The hotel staff is amazing at their job, but on their personal time, they're just as as everyone else else. The kitchen staff had a few folks with drug issues and had to be sent home a couple times because of it. In my time there, I saw 2 waiters get fired due to embezzlement. The turnover rate for management was very high because they didn't pay enough for the area. The staff parties were wild, to say the least. Bed bugs. Every single hotel, from rundown motels to 5-star resorts, has dealt with bed bugs. Never, ever, ever, I repeat, use a chocolate fountain from a hotel or banquet hall. Picture this. It's an expensive-ass Sunday brunch. Well, little Timmy just double-fisted strawberries directly into that chocolate. Bit into both strawberries, then triple-dipped into the chocolate again. And some old rich lady just sneezed on it. And somebody else just dropped their snack into it. The best part? That chocolate gets strained and saved for the next week's brunch. Chocolate is way too expensive to throw away. Ew, that's so gross. My significant other worked for a fancy hotel. The building owners, not the chain, the actual building itself, came to visit. He was on the Forbes billionaire list. He was a nice man who had buffet lunches every day and tipped every staff member he saw a crisp $100 bill every time he saw them. Housekeeper walked past, $100. Bartender setting up, $100. Shift swap, $100 on the way in and out. Worked at the high-end restaurant at a ski resort that hosts a famous film festival. Lots of sex in the walk-in coolers, but never the people you'd want to walk in on. When did you realize your friends were actually fake friends? Went to pick up my Xbox 360 a friend was borrowing, and our whole group of friends was there. They had spent the entire day playing games with snacks and pizza, and I had not been invited. And now I was in a situation of being the douche who takes the ball home and ruins the fun for everyone. I took my Xbox and never spoke to anyone in that group again. When I slowly realized I was only around for chores and errands, rides to the airport, pick up furniture, help move. Anything social always resulted in either last-minute cancellations, showing up 45 minutes late, and bolting after 10 minutes. I thought they were busy, but no. Was once told, I'm trying to hang out with my real friends. 'Twas an oof. 'Tis an oof indeed. That sounds awful. I'm so sorry. When my phone got stolen and I lost their phone numbers, mine stayed the same, but we just never talked again. When I traded in my truck for a smaller, more eco-friendly vehicle, communication plummeted now that I can't haul furniture around, assist with moving as much, dispose of garbage, etc. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and well, I gotta run. My name's been Brandon, and I will see you in the next one.